Morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream number 236. And it is Wednesday, so we are here with Skep Talk today. How are you, sir?
Doing very fine, thank you. I'll be even better when I mute the live watch page and I stop hearing you twice.
There we go.
Much better. So, yes, it's delightful to be with you here today.
Oh, good. And guys, I would like to report the reason yesterday that my computer froze was that somehow Discord was open. And VoiceOver and OBS and Discord had an argument. And OBS and VoiceOver apparently lost. So that's why I had to stop the stream early. So what I'm going to make sure is that I've asked Pincalo to remove Discord from the start menu so that it doesn't accidentally get opened. And we should have a full stream tomorrow. God, that was aggravating.
Man, that's really frustrating too. It's just part of the unusual learning curve for somebody who is basically forging a trail that really very few people are walking. It's a very unusual path that you're treading, and it's cool that you're doing it. I'm sorry that you have to do it. I wish you could see, but that you are doing it. It's so valuable, and the lessons that you're learning, just that you're documenting them, is of real value and lasting value. And that's one of the good things about YouTube is the internet is forever.
Yep.
I mean, as much as we lament it sometimes, there are good aspects to it too. It immortalizes the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. It's kind of agnostic about that. But anyway, I've been doing something this morning that I don't usually do, and that is wallowing in liberalism.
Oh boy.
I've been watching something called the Jimmy Dore Show. I don't know if you're familiar with Jimmy Dore, or Jimmy Dore, I guess is.
Is he that comedian?
He's a comedian.
He used to have a show on the Comedy Network. Well, that's what it's called up here, but I guess it's Comedy Central.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, his stand-up is okay. His TV show is god awful.
So I decided to subject myself to it.
Oh my God, are you going to be all right? Can you still think?
I think I need medication, but it's interesting because I actually think that he's one of these guys who is actually fairly intelligent, but he's warped by some basic assumptions that he's got wrong. And the assumptions that he's got wrong are the standard ones about, the government being run by some giant conspiracy to, he doesn't understand the nature of greed.
No.
He thinks that there's a giant monster in government, and that government is a cohesive monster that acts as one. And that the U.S. is the principal monster that acts to subvert the world and get all the stuff. He doesn't understand that greed fragments people, and that it's a bunch of individual forces that constantly suboptimize and cut each other off at the knees, and that's one of the things that keeps that giant monster that he believes exists from ever developing in the first place. But in his fevered fantasy, he actually ends up developing some almost libertarian points of view, specifically about projection of force abroad and about spending blood and treasure of intervening in other countries, with which I heartily agree.
Right.
and sometimes he spends a lot of time being right for the wrong reason. We you know we've intervened in a lot of places, for the wrong reason ourselves, and gotten nothing but our nose bloodied, spent a lot of blood and treasure, and come away with essentially nothing. I mean, did we really do a lot of good in Libya?
No.
Did we really do a lot of good in Iraq? Have we solved all the problems in Afghanistan?
Oh, God.
How about Vietnam? How'd that turn out for us?
The argument could be created that we are the reason that ISIS is as powerful as it is.
Well, we certainly
didn't hurt or didn't help.
We changed them and forced them to adapt and find new sources of funding. We fought them to a standstill for a while and then basically quit fighting them, which allowed them to get stronger in some areas, and we weakened them in other areas. It's a very complicated report card. It's not something that you can give an easy grade to. But Jimmy Dore's point is that we would have been better off not intervening in a lot of those areas, and he brings that point home in critiquing Tulsi Gabbard's visit to a show on American TV called The View.
Oh, God.
And Tulsi Gabbard was assaulted on The View by a woman by the name of Meghan McCain.
Yeah.
Now, Meghan McCain is a hog.
Oh,
She's a hog whose principal achievement in life was to have been a sperm cell of John McCain at one time.
She's weird.
She's a cunt.
She's just
I'm just gonna be straight up with
to
you.
me. Like,
she's a bitch.
The first thing I heard of her was, I'm a Republican, but I'm not like your normal Republican. I'm like a reformed Republican. I like believe in gay marriage and stuff, but I'm still a Republican and stuff. I was like,
she is an egotist of the first water who has never done anything hard in her life. She's self-indulgent and bitchy and egotistical. There's just nothing that I like about her. I'll just be straightforward with you. And she descends on Tulsi Gabbard, who is a liberal, whose positions on most things I disagree with vastly, but whose positions on foreign policy I pretty much agree with.
Right.
And she's going, I was there in Afghanistan or in Iraq, 2 tours, and going over these casualty lists and seeing the effects of war firsthand, and kind of beginning to wonder what the hell we were doing there.
Right.
And I'm pretty sympathetic to that as a libertarian myself. I'm going, go Tulsi. I'm with you. And Meghan McCain is just saying, you're a water carrier for Assad, and you approve of the gassing of people in Syria and all this stuff. And I'm like, Meghan McCain, you don't even have the right to shine her shoes.
What
you have done nothing for this country.
What kind of crazy shit is that?
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to something where it's perceived that Tulsi Gabbard did not disapprove of Assad in Syria enough, and did not say the right things to please the left enough. And therefore, she's bad. She's a water carrier for Assad. And in point of fact, she is very critical of Assad. And anyway, the next thing that happened was Tulsi Gabbard just took her apart stick by stick.
Good. She's good at that. I'll give Tulsi that. Like, she did it to Warren.
Real calm.
Yeah.
Just calm disassembly of Meghan McCain. Just cut her into quivering bits of fat there on the show.
Good.
And then did the same thing with Joy Behar,
Oh,
who just makes a fool out of herself every time she opens her mouth. She's well past her sell by date.
I've listened I've listened to a few things that Whoopi says, and thank God she's still somewhat
Coherent. Yeah, she is.
Like, she's still the voice of reason.
She carries the show. Yeah.
She'll sit there and she'll be like, okay, like, she's like me. She goes, I don't like Trump, but why is he evil?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what exactly did he do that makes him evil?
Yeah. When did he hang the black people?
Yeah.
And
she was alive for actual civil rights abuses.
Oh yeah.
So
she saw Jim Crow.
Yeah, she's not one of these, young millennial black people that are reading about things they've never even seen.
No, that's right.
And she's sitting there going, what are you people talking about?
No, that's right. It's so anyway, that's so I spent some time this morning watching the Jimmy Dore show and watching, basically it was a lot of watching Tulsi Gabbard. And I ended up having a lot more respect for Tulsi Gabbard. Still disagree with her about her ideas about government can be successful. Big government can be successful. I disagree with her. And I think she's unrealistic about what government can do for people. And I think she's unrealistic about, a lot of her domestic policies. But strongly agree with her about a lot of her foreign policy stuff. And it made me feel good that somebody on that side felt that way.
Well, and at least she's not, like, at least when somebody goes after her like that, at least she doesn't fall apart.
Right. Absolutely.
You want, regardless of whether you agree with them or not,
yeah,
you want a politician that isn't going to go to pieces.
Exactly.
Whenever somebody from the opposite side takes a swing at them, regardless of whether that swing is insane or deserved, you want the politician to be calm and coherent,
as opposed to angry Bernie or senile Joe.
Yeah.
Or absolutely batshit crazy Pocahontas. She's a nutter. She's just, it's interesting. I heard Ben Shapiro talk about her. He actually took a law school course from her at Harvard.
Really?
Course, yeah, property law. And said, when she was teaching, she was bright and lively, had a good mind and so forth. And he said he looks at that person, he says he doesn't even recognize the person she's become. She's drifty and crazy and, almost like she's a different person now.
I think that she wakes up in the morning and calls Amy or Marianne Williamson and asks her to look into the crystal ball for her.
Yeah, really. Well, I'll tell you. And there are just some really unimpressive people. I mean, Beta Cuck O'Rourke he's a very unimpressive man. And that weakling mayor of New York, he's an appalling piece of shit. And these guys want to spend taxpayer dollars to buy back guns. All of them do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, when I saw Beto's tweet about the AR-15 the other day.
Yeah.
Like, let me be clear. We are coming for your assault rifles. Every last one of them. And I'm like, now say that again in your Peggy Hill Spanish. You haven't quite lost everyone's vote.
Yeah. Boy, no kidding. I sent out a thing I guess it was to David Hogg yesterday. I explained to the lad, about the size of the ammunition that an AR-15 AR-15 fires 223.
Yeah.
Basically a 22 caliber round. Yeah, it's like a 22 rifle. It's a very slim round, and a deer rifle fires like a 30 caliber round. That's why they call them 30-06s or 30-30s. And I even put a picture, on the tweet, so for easy reference. And the difference in size is tremendous. Plus, the amount of powder in back of it is different. So that friendly old deer rifle with the wood stock that nobody wants to ban is a hell of a lot more dangerous per shot than an AR-15.
It is.
A deer rifle with with a few shots in the magazine will do a hell of a lot more damage than a similarly equipped AR-15. I tell you,
Yeah.
I've seen deer shot with a 30-06. It's made to kill a deer. It'll do a job. If it'll kill a deer, it'll kill a human being too.
Oh, absolutely, it'll kill a human being.
But it doesn't look as scary. It doesn't look scary like an AR-15 though. That's the one they want to ban. Idiots. The ones that they want to that they really truly want to ban. This that's the not too secret game that they're actually playing. They want to get to the handguns. That's what they want you to turn in, because 98% of all the gun-related deaths in the United States and in Canada and everywhere else, by the way, are related to handguns. In the United States, it's something like 400 deaths a year. Think about that. 400 deaths a year are from rifles, including assault rifles. Yes, exactly.
Prospero is asking, the bell tower shooter used a hunting rifle? No.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He certainly did. I believe it was I'll tell you what it was. Charles Whitman was his name.
Yeah.
Charles Whitman.
Yeah, Pincalo's gotten in arguments with people who have said, a 220 or a 22 caliber bullet will blow a hole in a person and turn them into hamburger and blah blah, and he's like, just fuck off.
Yes, he used a Remington 780L with a Leupold scope. It was a bolt action rifle with a scope, and it looks just like a deer rifle. And it has a 3 to 6 round internal magazine, and it has a detachable 10 round magazine. It's a hunting gun. Yep, that's what he used.
So yeah, a hunting rifle, people, much more dangerous than a quote assault rifle.
Oh, for God's sake, yes. Hi, Ray. Hi, Prospero.
Hey, Gunny.
Hello, Six. Good to see you guys. Nice to see everybody showing up. Good bunch here on a nice Wednesday, a sunny Wednesday. Yeah,
it's not. I was gonna say it ain't sunny here.
Irate says I want a Browning automatic rifle. That's a machine gun. That's a very deadly machine gun that is it's big and heavy to tote. The Marines carried them in World War II, and those were heroes' weapons. those won the day at Guadalcanal and Okinawa. No kidding.
I have to run and get my phone charger.
Oh, we can.
Or I will not.
I will talk to chat for a moment.
Okay.
I will talk to chat for a moment.
I shall return.
What are people saying? Let's see. The 22 is a Barbie round. Yeah, it is. Unless it's a hollow point, in which case, it'll tumble, and it becomes Barbie, the vampire zombie, and you don't want to mess with Barbie, the vampire zombie. But uh, and yeah, AR-15s don't have much of a kick because they fire a round that um, doesn't really have a lot of mass to it. Yeah, fire a 30-06 sometimes. Let me know how much of a kick that has. First time I fired a 30-06, just the sound it's so loud. So it's so amazingly loud. It was the first rifle that I had fired after I had been firing nothing but 22s my whole life, and went out with a friend. He said, "Here, fire this," and I put it up to my shoulder. I fired the thing, and I was amazed at the kick that thing had and the sound. I just had never heard anything like that. It was awesome. I was hooked. We were just kids. As kids out plinking, and I love to go out plinking. That's one thing I like about Texas is I can drive 15 minutes from my house and be out in plinking country and set up bottles and just go out and shoot things. Set up bottles on rocks or set up rocks on rocks and just shoot rocks. It's big fun and so forth.
Hello,
Yeah,
I'm back.
30-06 will break your shoulder with the recoil. You're absolutely right, Gun Fox. And let's see. I don't know what you're making reference to, Prospero, with the comment like carbines, but let's see.
2 guns I want to shoot just because my favorite fictional characters shoot them.
Yes.
And they'll both probably kill me with the recoil. Is a double barrel Remington shotgun.
Okay.
12 gauge, because
you do realize you shoot one barrel at a time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure we understood that.
Because that's what Ash
It's
Williams
only Yosemite Sam in the cartoons
shoots both barrels at once. Yeah. Press both triggers. Yeah. And then I also want to shoot a 1911 Colt 45.
Oh, I wish I lived near you. I would bring you mine over, and we would shoot together.
That would be fun.
You would enjoy that. 1911. That was my sentimental favorite, and that was what I actually qualified with at Officer Candidate School, my Model 45. And I thought I would never love another handgun, other than a 45 caliber, until I shot a SIG 9mm. And then I fell in love with a 9mm. I was just so much more accurate, and it's still a good caliber weapon. Everybody says the same thing to me when I say that, but a 45 has so much more stopping power. I know. It was developed to put Filipino crazies down. I know. But the 9 is just, you can shoot the thing for hours at a gun range. Your hand doesn't get tired, and you just get such a great ego boost out of getting great looking targets time after time.
That's exactly what my grandfather says about his SKS rifle.
Yeah, really?
He says he goes, you can shoot that gun for hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt your shoulder's nice, like it doesn't bother you, and it doesn't jam, and he loves shooting his SKS.
Yep.
He used to have I think it was a Blackhawk, a 44 Blackhawk.
Really?
Gun, but he sold it.
Yeah.
But that was a nice looking. It was really heavy though.
I'm just going to reply to Prospero right here. I've shot a 9mm CZ, and I love that also. That is a wonderful, wonderful gun. Very, very well made. Sorry, go ahead.
So it's guns are. I would really like to get more into guns.
I knew that Gunfox would come through. I knew that someone would come through. And Gunfox did not disappoint. 9mm and 45mm will not stop a person drugged up on hash before they kill you. 30-06, 308 will drop them 1 to 3 shots. AR-15, maybe 30 rounds. Listen, if you put a 9mm slug through their brain, you'll probably at least slow them down. If you blow their head completely off with one shot, you'll probably slow them down. That's all I'm saying.
If I was on hash and I wanted to kill somebody, I would be very upset about the type of hash that I got.
Yeah, no, that's like the opposite.
That ain't hash.
Exactly.
Unless you're talking about like those PCP people who are so doped up on hash that they don't give a fuck about what they're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I would associate that reaction more with something like PCP or meth.
Yeah, I'd be like, I want a refund on this hash. It made me insane. I got shot.
6 says that Ruger is a great manufacturer, and I agree they have a great reputation. I have never shot a Ruger that I remember. I may have shot one once in Seattle. I may have shot a Ruger. I don't know if they make a 9mm. I think I may have shot a Ruger up there. But can't remember. Anyway, they have a great reputation, that's for sure. They do.
So did you hear about Wisconsin and the small cities worth of children that are going to school unvaccinated?
Who's going to school unvaccinated?
So in Wisconsin, there are 50,000 unvaccinated kids.
Don't tell me this.
That are going to school. I tried to read this yesterday, but it was
what the actual fuck
story
is this on your server?
Here, I'm gonna send you the link to your Twitter DMs.
Thank you.
Because I've got it right here. It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those stories with a shit ton of pop-ups. That voice
I can
was like blat blat blat.
Yeah, I can beat through it pretty fast.
All right. Send, damn you, send.
There I got it. Right. Here we go. Journal Sentinel, 50,000 unvaccinated children. Pop up. 50,000 unvaccinated children. Pop up. Pop up. God damn it. As the U.S. copes with worst measles outbreak in 27 years. Unvaccinated head to Wisconsin schools as the U.S. copes with worst measles outbreak in 27 years. Okay. And there's a picture of a kid crying as she gets a shot. All right. When Wisconsin children return to school this week, close to 50,000 of them will have waivers that exempt them from vaccines, leaving them vulnerable to measles at a time when the nation has experienced its largest outbreak in 27 years. Because potato. Health officials across the U.S. have reported 1,215 cases of measles this year as of August 22nd, the highest number since 1992, according to CDC. Measles had been declared eliminated in 2000. Let that soak in for a minute.
Yeah.
I really do think it's purely just dumb luck that this hasn't spread to Wisconsin, said James Conway, a professor of pediatrics at University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. Since 2018, state health officials have investigated 382 suspected cases of measles. Not one case has been confirmed. Immunization rates of 92 to 95% are considered necessary to provide what health officials concerned call herd immunity. The term is used to describe a level of immunization high enough to prevent the infection from spreading to those who are susceptible, possibly triggering a widespread outbreak. The vulnerable group includes children under a year who are too young to receive vaccines and children with weakened immune systems. Wisconsin's most recent county-by-county immunization rates paint a sobering picture. The 2018 figures measure the percentages of 5 to 6-year-olds who had received at least 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, the amount needed to fully immunize a child. Not a single county in 2018 came close to the 92% threshold. In fact, 40 of the 72 counties had immunization rates below 80%.
Oh my
40,
God.
40 of the 72, so over 50% of the 72 counties had immunization rates below 80%.
That's terrifying.
Oh my God. So there's no comparable national statistic, but 2017 state by state vaccination rates for children 19 to 35 months of age showed Wisconsin trailing 36 other states, according to CDC. I would not be surprised at all if I woke up tomorrow to hear that the measles outbreak had reached Wisconsin. Not surprised at all. Blah, 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 blah. We're scared, we're scared, we're scared. Blah, blah, blah. Exemptions for personal, religious, or health reasons have risen more than 9% in Wisconsin over the last 3 school years. There is no reason to think that the trend will reverse itself in the absence of intervention such as policy change. So I'd say, Jesus, and some of these things, the religious stuff just makes me fucking crazy. That, if you want that's fine, but you don't get to have your kids out in public. You keep that little disease monster at home.
Yep.
Although, at that point, it's maybe child abuse, and maybe we take the child.
People are asking in chat, what do you mean exempt? Well, see, there are people who will lie. And I've seen this on mom Facebook groups where moms will ask, I'm really scared about getting my kid vaccinated. What should I do? And moms will tell them, oh, just tell them you have a religious problem with it. Just tell them you're vegan. Oh, just tell them this. Just tell them that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are like, someone in chat said, Muzzies. No, it's not Muslims. It's not just that. It's like actual citizens who have been born and raised in the West, yep, who have fallen for, Gwyneth Paltrow or
that's exactly
Jennifer
right.
Lawrence or
they hear about febrile seizures, which actually does happen,
yeah,
to 1/100,000th of 1%, yep, and you run a fever and sometimes you have a seizure. No one's ever died from it.
I bet you.
And you go on with your life.
Well, I bet you there would be a much higher risk of febrile seizures if you got, I don't know, the mumps, measles and mumps, yeah, and got a fever and
you got mumps and went deaf.
Yeah. My piano teacher is well, she's not my piano teacher anymore, but I had a totally blind piano teacher who was born blind because her mother was exposed to German measles when she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
With my piano teacher.
That just, that breaks my heart. Just breaks my heart.
So it's like, this is a thing that happens.
Wow. Wow. It just, measles is
Jenny McCarthy. That's right, not Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, Jenny McCarthy.
Guys. Sorry, thank you, Irate.
Yeah, a CDC webpage for parents concerned about vaccine safety stresses that getting the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine is much safer than getting measles, mumps, or rubella. That should be kind of obvious.
Yeah.
That's why we have the vaccine. And the the people who say, "Well, I'm going to skate on this and rely on the herd immunity, so I won't have the what I perceive as the risk in quotes of the vaccine, so I won't run that risk, and I also won't have I'll keep my child pure."
Mm.
What you're doing is you're not letting your child develop his own defenses. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how vaccines work. This is so stupid. It just enrages me that people. I know I shouldn't get mad at Dr. Darwin. He's just doing his job, but I hate to see the misery that is inflicted on the children.
Yeah.
If it would just fall back on the stupid adults who pull this crap, if they're the ones who would go blind and deaf, if they're the ones who would live their lives in misery, that would be that would be fine. If they were the ones who died, that would be fine. But it's the children who suffer from this, and that's why I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, this is child abuse.
It is.
This is pure and simple child abuse. And we are, it may sound funny for a libertarian to say this, but if we're going to live in a society where we touch one another, your rights end at the tip of my nose. And unfortunately, since we share the same air as closely as we do, that means that we have to part of our social contract is that we agree to stuff like this.
Yes, exactly.
We agree not to shoot each other, and we agree not to make each other sick.
Well, and
And this is part of that.
it's not like this is, I could understand, when vaccines were first a new thing. And people were like, "Oh, I don't know about this," right? Like, because it's a new thing, right? That is human nature to be wary of a new thing.
Yeah.
But vaccines are not new. Like, we're backsliding. What the fuck is this? Why? Why are we backsliding?
People like
as
to
a
discover
society?
something new. They think they always want to discover improvements, and that's actually a healthy instinct. It's a good thing that people want to look for things to improve. That's a positive instinct in humanity. It's something to be encouraged. That's something positive. The bad thing is when we look in the wrong place and think when we find fool's gold, which is what this is. This is not gold. This is dumb.
You know
Stop
what this?
it.
You know what this is? This is that husband that thinks he's a handyman,
Yeah.
but he's really not.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
every time he goes to do a project, his wife is like, "Oh fuck, no, no,
Yeah.
please."
So honestly, blind. Sometimes that's me. I've mostly learned my limitations at this point, but it's like the other day. I'll tell a story of myself.
All right, that sounds fun.
This actually happened when this was about 3 or 4 months ago, I guess. Went out to do a load of laundry, started the washer, and strange sound happened, and nothing happened. And I went, "Oh, okay." And there was like a series of beeps that came from it. And I know enough about washers to know that's it's a signal, it's an error code. So I looked up the model of the washer, and it said this component has gone bad. So I looked up the component. It's something you could order, and I said, Brenda, this component has gone bad in our washer, and it costs about $50.
Mhm.
this electronic component. It's down here, and I had the washer tipped up on its side. I unbolted the component, and it had an electrical connection. I undid that and had the thing all splayed apart, and I ordered the new connection
Right.
and the new piece, and brought it in, and Brenda was like rolling her eyes. And she said, "I'll bet that's not all that's wrong with it.
Mhm.
It was an old washer." And so I got the new component. It was the right component. Went right in, and I put it back together. I proudly turned it back on, and it made another weird noise,
Oh.
and it started to smell very funny.
Oh dear.
So I quickly unplugged it from the wall.
Let's get the electricity not running to this now.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And disconnected the water once more, and I called a service guy out. $119 later,
Oh.
I found out. He said, essentially what has happened is everything in this washer is just worn out, and
Oh
it
dear.
just all kind of went to hell at once. He said that component that you had, that's a nice new component, that was one of the pieces that was worn out, but that was actually the least of your problems. The old component would have worked, and but that was the error message that you were getting. Instead of this other thing was working, but this motor part that actually runs your drum is done, and
Oh
that means the
god.
washer is done. That means haul it away.
So you spent, let's see, 50,
About
119
$160 at the end of the
to
day.
be told, guess what? You need to
Your
spend
washer's
more
done.
money.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So there
Gotta
you go.
love that.
There you go. The uh my fairy godmother came through for me. My stepdaughter, oddly enough, was moving and was looking for a new home for her washer and dryer,
Oh.
and it essentially gave me for a very inexpensive price her fairly new washer. So I
Awesome.
got a decent price on the washer, a used washer, but a really nice one. And so I actually got a new washer out of it. But yeah, so yeah, not I'm not brilliant at everything I do. I'm capable of making a real fool out of myself a lot of times.
Oh, that sucks though. That it's like, here, I've spent all this money. Oh, look, I have to buy a new washer.
Oh, Brenda just she still thought it was funny.
But isn't that the way? Like, isn't that the way though? You when you're a kid, you go, I want to be an adult so bad. I can do
Oh
whatever I want.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. You don't realize how all the stuff that adults take care of.
I had that thought last night when I was listening to a book because
I want to be a kid.
there's a scene in a book. There's a scene in the book I was reading where a homicide lieutenant is looking out the window of his office, and
Uh-huh.
he can see a playground of a public school, and he's watching it like it's recess time or something, and he's watching the kids running around, and it says in the book, it says, they're probably hollering and screeching their way through morning recess, and he wished that he could be, a kid again, just running around on the playground screaming. And it's so funny because when you're a kid, I wish I could be an adult. And then you're an adult and you're like, God damn it, I wish I could be a kid. It's like you're never happy
It's
where
true.
you are.
You don't want the responsibilities of having to do stuff, but you want the freedom. And it was you just life never gives you all of the things you want at once.
Yeah.
And that's the I guess that's the lesson of life. You only get some of the things that you want at different times.
Yep. When you're an adult, you don't have to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but you have to spend money to find out you have to spend money.
Exactly. And you also learn the lesson: if you don't go to bed at 8 o'clock, you're gonna be tired the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed up talking with Quiz and Sanguine till 1 o'clock this morning, and 5 o'clock came rolling around.
And that was a 2.5 hour stream last
That
night.
was a long stream last night. Yeah, it was. So we went long, but we had fun. It was big fun. I enjoy getting on there with Sanguine, but our potential for co-spurging like that just wears me out sometimes. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I last night I went to bed, and it was one of those times where you almost doze off and then something happens. Yeah. And you wake up and you're like, oh, well, now I'm awake again. And that's what happened to me and Pink Hollow, actually.
Yeah.
And we both didn't get to sleep until almost, I fell asleep around 2, I think. Yeah. And he was up and down all night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been storming here. So that's part of the reason.
I was just going to say, sometimes the weather, it can make a difference.
Because of where we are, we get the tail end of any hurricane that happens.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So anytime there's a hurricane in like the Bahamas or in Florida or anywhere,
into that weather.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So we've got some weird. It's Pinkala was telling me, he goes, it's really bright and sunny between the giant, huge clouds.
Yeah. So, you and I were reflecting on the fact that both of us have kind of lost the handle on what's going on with Brexit these days.
Yes.
And I have Prospero. I think she's in chat. I think she's still in chat. Do you know what is going on with Brexit? Is Brexit still a go? I know that one of the key people defected from the Tories. Is that what I remember you telling me?
And, I think I saw something about an emergency debate being called.
Yeah, I think there's like a Brexit shambles thing. Hang on a second.
Prospero also says, not this time. There's a front coming in through the east. This isn't from Dorian. Well, she's in the same weather path as I am. So
okay, so that isn't actually from Dorian, but it's weather.
Yeah.
Dr. Philip Lee, that's what quit the Tory party and killed the Tory majority. Ooh. It's all up in the air now. Boris may call for an election. Holy shit.
Really? I hope Boris doesn't do that. If Boris calls for an election, the Tories are fucked.
No. Yes, they will.
Labor will get in.
Because then you'll have, Jeremy Corbyn. No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Boris, do not call in. Why am I talking to Boris Johnson? As if he's going to watch this stream. Boris Johnson, please do not call an election.
Oh, no. I'm looking at Brexit shambles right now. Oh man.
She goes,
everybody is saying yes. Labor government, come on, let's go. Other people I'm actually fucking embarrassed to be British right now. Brexit shambles.
Prospero says he's threatening all sorts of things. Of course he is. Boris is trying to scare the Tories into falling into line, I think Prospero says. I don't think it's working.
Holy shit.
Oh no, Labor's numbers are actually horrible, says Prospero. So Could there actually be a coalition government in the future?
They can't do it. Who would be the prime minister?
Well,
Boris?
didn't they do that with David Cameron and
But I mean,
Gordon?
given the atmosphere right now, who would they have as a
Yeah.
Rees-Mogg?
Yeah, I'd love to see Boris Johnson go to Jacob Rees-Mogg and be like,
a few moments of your time.
yeah. Pardon me, sir. I'm sorry I've stuck my foot in it, shall we say, but could you please be the prime minister? Oh my god. What the hell? Lib Dems might send up in coalition.
Jacob Rees-Mogg has rebelled against the Tory whip almost 100 times in 9 years. He is rewarded by being appointed Leader of the House of Commons. David Gauck has never rebelled against the Tory whip in 14 years. He is rewarded with expulsion from the party. The Tories really are
eating themselves.
They're eating themselves. They really, truly are. And what's happening is the Tory morale, the old line Tories are feeling like they've been betrayed.
I don't doubt it.
They really do feel like they've been betrayed.
Yeah, so Prospero's saying Lib Dems might end up in a coalition if it goes this way. With Labor? Is that what you mean, Prospero? Lib Dems and Labor? That would be weird.
Yeah. Holy shit. Wow.
And here I thought the shit going on here was weird. Oh. This is bad.
Bizarre. Yeah, this is bizarre.
This is very bad for Britain. Yeah, Prospero means she meant a coalition between Labor and Lib Dems might end up happening if
between Labor and Lib Dems?
That's what she said.
Who, and ask her who the PM will be.
Who do you think the prime minister would be, Prospero? Do you think they'd choose Corbyn or
Lib Dems never permit Corbyn.
Who's the leader of the Lib Dems? Do you know?
Leader of Lib Dems Britain. Joe Swinson.
Okay. Oh, Prospero says 2 Labour MPs have voted with the Tories lately because since their constituents maybe leave. Oh, okay. So a couple of Labour MPs have voted with Tory lines because of their constituency being pro-Brexit. Well, at least they're being smart and voting in what their constituents want. I mean, you got to give them that at least.
Why did Lee leave? Why did he leave?
I don't know.
That's the
You're trying to read why.
Yeah, why did he leave? Why did he leave the Tory party?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to find that out. Philip Lee quits Tory party.
Tons of stuff happening today.
I know. It's just a lot of this. Let's see. what they say about this.
Lee is despised by his own constituency. That's
Boris
weird.
Johnson saw his one-vote Commons majority vanish before his eyes as a statement by the Prime Minister to Parliament was undermined by the very public defection of the Conservative MP Philip Lee to the Liberal Democrats. The stunt on Tuesday, in which the pro-Remain Bracknell MP walked across the chamber to the Lib Dem benches, happened as Johnson updated the Commons on last month's G7 summit, a statement devoted mainly to Brexit. In a carefully staged managed maneuver, as Johnson began his statement, Lee, who resigned as a junior justice minister last year over Theresa May's Brexit policy, walked across the floor of the Commons chamber, sitting down on the Lib Dem benches close to Jane Dodds, the newly sworn-in MP for Brecon and Radnorshire, and some other British name that nobody can pronounce. At the same time, the party released a statement from Lee, long the focus of rumors he quit, saying he had departed due to the way Johnson was pursuing a, quote, damaging Brexit, end quote, that could, quote, put lives at risk, end quote. So sounds like he just wanted some publicity and wanted to be a big shot. Lee follows the former Tory MP Sarah Wollaston and ex-Labour MP Chuka Umunna in joining the Lib Dems, who now have 15 MPs, wiping out Johnson's working majority. So his majority just dissolved.
Well, that's not good.
He's just screwed. He is just screwed. So there you go. There you go. And
so Prospero told me to look up Philip Lee's Wikipedia page to see what his past behavior is in Parliament. So I'm just here looking up. I'm on his Wikipedia page.
On Philip Lee in Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see. What do we have here? Wow, there is so much crap to get through.
Oh, I know. Okay. The Undersecretary of State, blah, 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 Ministry of Justice, yada, yada, yada. Resigned from government July 18. Yada, yada. Okay. And he was a member of the Conservative Party until yesterday when he resigned to join the Liberal Democrats. Early life and career, he was born and raised somewhere, and he did some stuff. Some people did some things. Some people went to some schools, and he did some things, and he graduated and did some other things, and then he did some things. Okay, he joined some parties, and he did some more things, and then he did some things. Hang on, I'm getting to the good part. Okay. There's nothing interesting about him.
Oh, okay.
There's absolutely nothing interesting.
So it says Prospero says the quitting of May's cabinet was also stunt-like. So he's got some sort of histrionic problem.
Yeah, exactly. He's a stuntmeister. That's all. He's a stunt man.
He's a performer.
He is. That's exactly it. And in a widely reported resignation statement, he said that his reason was so that he could better speak up for my constituents and country over how Brexit is currently being delivered. He went on to warn that the current approach to Brexit would damage businesses in his constituency and that he could not support the government's opposition to Parliament deciding what happens if it rejects the final deal because doing so breaches such fundamental principles of human rights and parliamentary sovereignty and other big words that make me sound important.
I love that.
God almighty. What a pompous asshole. So, anyway, there you go.
And other big words that make him sound important. Love it.
Yeah, he's
That's amusing.
he's just he's just an MP who wanted some attention. Basically, I'm beginning to think that Parliament is as full of scoundrels and hacks as American politicians are. I didn't think there could be any greater bunch of unhung scoundrels as American politicians, but I'm beginning to think that Britain might have us beat. They've been doing it longer. That's why they're better at it.
They are. Well, they've had many more centuries of practice.
They are. They're just the most giant assholes on earth. They hate themselves. They hate each other, and they seem to hate their country with kind of almost a gleeful hate. It's a contempt for themselves.
True. It's they wallow in their, like, they're almost Catholic in their self-hatred.
Self-loathing. Yeah.
It's like Henry VIII when he left the church of, the Catholic Church, was like,
right.
I say, fuck this no divorce business, but let's keep the self-loathing and guilt.
Absolutely. He certainly did that.
Like, I just
kept the majesty and the authority of the church, and just pretty much just replaced the Pope. Just replaced the Pope. My God.
So you want to hear some cool sciencey stuff?
Yeah, let's hear some cool sciencey stuff. What's up?
Okay. So, mineral found inside million-year-old meteorite never before seen in nature. So the subheading says scientists believe the space rock may have come from the core of another planet. Article, not may have came from. It may have come from the core of another planet.
If you're talking ghetto, it may have came. It may have came from. Sorry, just teasing. Anyway.
Oh, I feel like I'm channeling Scribe Light when I do. So let's see here. So it says, a meteorite found by the side of a road in Australia contains a mineral that has never before been seen in nature. Oh. The distinctive red and black meteorite was found just outside the town of some Australian town. Because voiceover Wedderburn?
Wedderburn.
In southern Australia in 1951, and scientists have been trying to decipher its secrets ever since. Okay. Now researchers from the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, have scanned the 210-gram piece of space rock and discovered a mineral inside. They have called it
Edscottite.
Pardon?
Edscottite.
Edscottite?
After Edward Scott, a renowned cosmochemist from the University of Hawaii.
What a... Could you have, like, really? Edscottite?
Thank goodness his name wasn't Albert Wiener Schnitzel or something. Edscottite. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right then. What a clumsy name for that mineral. Edscottite, which is a rare form of iron carbine mineral, is produced during iron smelting. But this is the first time it has been found in nature. This researchers believe that the space rock may have come, it says came again, from the core of another planet destroyed in an ancient collision. Hey, I wonder if... No, that wouldn't be that obvious. I was going to say, I wonder if that's Thea's core. The core of the planet that is theorized to have made the moon.
Could be. Could be. Let's see. This meteorite has an abundance of carbon in it, and as it slowly cooled down, the iron and carbon came together and formed this mineral. So the mineral is a combination of iron, carbon, and iron atoms set together in a particular pattern. I wish I could see. I'm trying to visualize. Uh, um, I have to look at a valence table because I can't remember what the outer shell of iron looks like to see how that could form. It must be some peculiar crystalline structure of iron. Edscotite. Edscotite. I would like to. Maybe if I look up Edscotite, maybe I can see Edscotite. Picture. Let's see if we. Maybe I can get some images. I want to see what the see how the iron and the carbon fit together. Anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but
I don't see a carbon date on it, Prospero.
A what date?
She was asking if they had carbon dated.
You can't carbon date that because there is no. The way that you carbon date stuff is you look at the amount of carbon 14 isotope to the regular carbon isotope, and you measure those that fraction together, and you can tell when the thing stopped living. Basically, it's not an organic thing, so you can't really do that. It's going to have the same. There's no comparison to do it with. It's going to have just one of the numbers that you need.
The next 6 minutes with all these new mineral names: Jean-Claude Van Damite.
Yeah, there you go.
James
Van Damite.
James Vanderbeekite. Sylvester Stallonium.
Sylvester Stallonium. Exactly, Prospero. Yeah, it was the core of a meteorite. Exactly. You can't carbon date it. You could you couldn't do that. Just trying to think. Just not really much you can do in terms of you can estimate its age, but you basically have to do that on the basis of where it came from and what it's composed of. I'm guessing, where it came from. Probably came from, stuff in our solar system. Probably came from stuff inside the Oort cloud for sure. And so, that makes it relatively young in terms of the age of the universe. Probably within the last 3-4 billion years.
So let me try and get this message here open because Oh, yes, here we go. Pincalo sent me a story that I couldn't open on Safari, but I opened it here.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Go.
You're not gonna believe this. And the message he sent me right after this link is, "I am too tired for this wacky shit." So here's the headline.
Okay.
It was a relief. Calgary mother's emotional support chickens approved.
No. Emotional support chickens. It
Okay.
was exactly what she needed.
It was,
Get
yes.
the yolk. or anyway. Yeah.
So here we go. Calgary, when 3 fluffy chicks, just 24 hours old, arrived at Nikki Pike's house on August 17th. The mother of two had no idea the impact they would have on her. For years, Pike had struggled with anxiety and depression stemming from sexual abuse, a complicated family life, and bullying as a child. She was on medical leave from work and had difficulty coping with debilitating, intrusive thoughts. So find the right med combo and go to a therapist, lady.
Could do that.
You have children. Like, you anyway, Nikki, so there's a picture of her cuddling Noodle, the favorite of her 3 emotional support chickens. The favorite.
Noodle.
Chicken Noodle.
Of course. Of course.
Yes, of course. The chickens were visiting for the weekend for Pike's kids, who had heard her talk about the backyard hens she had had as a child and wanted chickens of their own. They had circulated a petition around the neighborhood to allow backyard chickens. Her youngest son wore a chicken costume, garnering the attention of a local news outlet. A farm 10 minutes down the road offered to let them borrow the chicks for the weekend. So these aren't even her chickens.
What is she going to do when what happens to chickens happens to those chickens?
Is she going to give them back?
I mean,
oh, here we go. But when it came time to take the chicks back, Pike's husband pulled her aside to talk. Instead of chemical intervention, I could come into my backyard and I can pick up a chicken that's linked to the trauma I had as a child and how I coped as a child. They're really my escape from all that was happening, Nikki says.
Really?
So this is her instead of taking meds.
If it works.
Because you don't have to take, not every medication is going to turn you into a zombie.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not supposed to feel like a zombie when you're on meds.
No. And in fact, most meds, as I understand it, dosed properly, do not turn you into a zombie.
No.
Some of them have a initial dosing phenomenon where, once you pass the first couple of weeks, you might have some transient drowsiness that goes away. But chickens, okay.
And then people wonder why people with actual service animals have to deal with crap when they show up in restaurants. People are people are having trouble discerning what's an actual service animal and what's not now, because people are buying fake harnesses. There are fake documents now that people get for service animals that, and if they look legit, the law says that, you've got to let them in. And people, who are blind or are autistic or have seizures, who have actual service dogs, have to deal with people now going, it's honestly like, papers. Does your dog have papers? Because
And it's like the Gestapo.
yeah, and it's because of these dumbasses with emotional support chickens.
What if you identify as having need of a support animal? You don't really have any problems, but you occasionally identify as having a disability. Should you get disability support payments and have a service animal?
I don't think so.
Well, since everything's a social construct.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my blindness is an actual construct.
Well, that's actually a good point. Isn't that really just a social construct?
Well, the fact that I have lumps of plastic in my head is pretty real.
See, that's the thing. That's what makes me absolutely crazy about these people who pretend this shit. It makes me want to beat them. I get past the point where I can reason with them. I just want to start hitting them.
Yeah.
I know I'm a bad person, blind. I know I am. I can't help it.
No, you're not a bad person. I would like to give these people a right good caning.
Yes, caning is about right. Bastinado, maybe. A good feet beating.
Yeah, I would love to give them a great caning.
I just want to, I read prostate. I have a plastic aorta. I win. I gotta say, I'm sitting here. Last night I was flossing my teeth. A big chunk of my front tooth came
Oh
off.
no!
I mean, it is freaking fractured. It hurts, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm sitting here with two of my friends. One has a plastic heart, the other one's blind, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. God damn it!
That's I
don't have any right.
I chipped a tooth in my sleep once because I used to be really bad with grinding my teeth.
Yeah.
When I get really stressed.
Yeah.
I tend to grind my teeth in my sleep.
I do, by the way.
I ground my teeth so hard one night. I chipped my front tooth.
Did you ever have a retainer? Did you ever have a sleep retainer?
I did have a mouth guard for a little bit. Yeah. Actually, because of that, my dentist got me fitted for a mouth guard because I had to have my tooth filed down.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was one of my incisors and I chipped it and I was cutting my tongue on it.
Yep. I'm supposed to call them back. They're going to try and work me in tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
So, and
it's all about Skep Talk, says Ira.
God damn right it is. Always has been, always will. That's the thing. The world revolves around me. I go outside, and when I turn around in a circle, the whole world goes around me, and I realize the world literally revolves around me.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's a miracle. I'm that person.
I'm super happy I got my Mortal Kombat video released last night.
Oh, yes, you did. have not seen it yet.
Well, it seems to be very well received. It came out in the middle of the night, and it's already at like 25 views and 4 comments. So
excellent. I will go check it out this afternoon.
Well, the shitty part was Pinkolo was trying to help me upload it, and he uploaded it, and then we each have a profile on our PlayStation, so he switched over to his profile to play a game for himself. And apparently, if you do that, it stops uploading whatever you're doing on the other profile. So he had to upload it again.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Well, because it's the shitty part about the PlayStation is that it's sort of accessible, but the text-to-speech is often not available for a lot of the things that, like, for instance, sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't access the sharing by myself. It'll just say text-to-speech unavailable here. It's like,
oh, that's lovely.
Well, that's not very helpful.
Jeez.
So I can record a video by myself, but then I have to go, Pinkalo, honey.
Yeah.
Sweetie pie.
Got to get you a Geordie rig.
That would be awesome.
Got to get working on that.
Because then you could not only see, but you could also be like a human lie detector.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see that in your lifetime. I guarantee it.
That would be so cool.
But you'll see it in yours. You will. You will.
To look at just look at someone and see their heart rate go up.
Yes.
Or their body temperature.
Respiration. Yeah, change. Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
Interesting. Hey, you know what? I'm going to excuse myself and be right back in a second. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
That will be 2 hours is a long time for me.
Not a worry.
Too much coffee this morning. I'll be right back.
Not a worry. So let's read about Mr. Kevin O'Leary and his we're going to read an update about Kevin O'Leary from yesterday. Wow. Time warp. Okay. I am apparently, see, the problem is I had to take some muscle relaxants this morning. So I'm kind of out of it right now. I'm pulling a ranting monkey. Not only have I taken some acetaminophen and methylcarbidinol, I think it is. I also took a pretty hefty cannabis capsule with cannabis oil, so I'm like, wee. Kefki. Hello, Kefki. Mr. Wonderful. Haha. So, we're going to read here about Kevin O'Leary. So it says busy. Oh, thank you, Chrome. That's very helpful. Okay. Come along, Chrome. So, Kevin O'Leary and cops tight-lipped on fatal boat crash probe. I bet they are. So let's see what we have here for an update. Let's get through all of these links. Holy crapola. Links and headings everywhere. Thank you, CBC. You are so very helpful. Okay. Finally. The OPP are tight-lipped. So there's a... Okay, so we've got pictures of the victims above the article. So here we go. We got Susan Brideau and Gary Poltash. So Suzanne Abrito died 2 days after the crash. In the wake of the crash, O'Leary claimed the other boat didn't have navigation lights and fled the scene. The spokesman for the shocked... Wait. A spokesman? Oh, for the Shark Tank star said the businessman's wife was behind the wheel. So he's throwing his wife under the bus. That's great. So it was the driver of the boat, the other boat's fault because they didn't have lights on and they fled because there were 2 fucking fatally wounded people on board. And his wife was behind the wheel. It wasn't me, it was my wife. It wasn't me, it was my wife. That's just wow. Way to go, Kevin. But friends and family of the victims are disputing O'Leary's version of events. The investigation is just ongoing and they're not releasing anything until the end of the investigation, Constable Joe Scally told the Toronto Sun. Scally added he wasn't sure when there would be a resolution, and the investigators are still sifting through witness statements and other evidence. So let's see here. Sources told the Sun a video had been turned into cops, but the contents remains a mystery. So have you heard of Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank?
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a Canadian businessman. He's appeared on Shark Tank quite often. He's also been on Dragon's Den, which is the Canadian version.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the UK did Dragon's Den first, but then Canada, the CBC.
I'm only familiar with the Canadian version.
So Kevin O'Leary on the weekend killed 2 people with his boat.
For fun? Was it a thing?
It was apparently it was an accident. He's blaming the other boat for not having lights on because apparently the crash happened at night, like in the evening. They were on Lake Joseph up in the Muskokas in northern Ontario. I've actually been to Lake Joseph. It's a gorgeous spot. A lot of rich people have vacation homes up on the Georgian Bay side.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Chrétiens have a cottage. At least they used to have a cottage there.
So who? Let me ask a couple things about who was driving his boat.
He claims his wife was driving his boat.
Okay, who was she intoxicated when she was driving the boat?
It does not say. The story I read yesterday and this updated story that I was just reading while you were gone has not mentioned any alcohol.
Okay.
There are conflicting statements from both sides. The side where the fatalities happened say that O'Leary was driving the boat, and they were also say that they did have lights on.
Okay.
O'Leary is also saying that the other boat fled the scene of the crash, but they had good reason to flee the scene of the crash because they had 1 DOA and 1 died in hospital 2 days after the crash. So they had very badly wounded people they needed to take care of. They couldn't hang around, right?
That was smart. Did they have both wounded people, even though one of them was dead? Were both the injured people on board the ship that left?
Yes.
Boat that left. Okay. So they were hauling ostensibly wounded people or dying people away to get help. Which is certainly understandable, and they were within. It's a lake, so they were within an hour probably.
It's a big lake too.
But were they within an hour of shore?
Oh, I would say so.
Okay. And did they radio did the ship did the boat that the people got hurt on, did they radio distress as soon as they got hit?
I didn't see any indication to say that they radioed distress.
Okay.
Um,
Now, and then the next question is going to tell the tale. Did O'Leary's boat radio distress as soon as it happened?
it seems not. It seems that the OPP are not Ontario Provincial Police. For those going, what the hell's an OPP? They are being very tight-lipped on what they're finding because they obviously it's ongoing.
$64 question is, if O'Leary called the police and tried to get visibility on this immediately, that means that he was in the clear, and what he's saying is true is true. If he did not call police immediately, then, and I suspect that, and I'll tell you what I suspect in a minute, then he was probably in the wrong. I suspect that there was drinking going on his ship,
Yeah.
on his boat, and that he was driving. Okay, he smacked into them. It was just it was a DWI basically.
Yeah.
And this is murder by DWI or homicide by DWI. And he's trying to cover it up by saying his wife was driving because maybe she wasn't drinking or wasn't drinking as much. And he's got a career to protect, and he's telling her that he'll protect her and all this kind of stuff.
Mm.
He's making a devil's bargain with her. So as long as she keeps her side of the story up, he'll keep her out of jail and all this kind of stuff, and life will go on as before. That's the only way to keep the money machine on the trail and so forth. I almost guarantee you that's what is going on, because the other side is not acting to me like a guilty party.
No, apparently there is a video that's been turned into the police as well. It's not obviously not been released.
Yep.
And the contents is not being discussed.
Yep.
This is a very here's a very important paragraph that I just found. This is from a constable of the Ontario Provincial Police. They have their means of matching everything up with injuries sustained by people, and what caused the injuries puts them where they were seated, Scally added. Yep. So, and then he says, if charges are warranted, the only way to get there is getting everything completed, meaning getting the evidence together. So it says the investigators are looking at every aspect of each boat to determine who sat where, which is obviously what they need to be doing. But if it says that the injuries match people, being seated where they should be, this really supports what you were saying, like about how it was most likely him.
Yeah.
Like, because if he goes to jail, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
It's going to affect his image.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can take from a billionaire is time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing of value you can take, unless you take all his money away from him, is time. And if you he'll do anything to stay out of that. I'm be interesting to see how this plays out. The other thing I'd be interested to see, I can't remember what his personality is like.
Oh, so a lot of people are calling him the Canadian Trump, not because of his politics,
because he's a prick,
but because of his business
acumen.
The way he acts as a businessman, the way he he's very brash.
Mm-hmm.
He's very loud.
Mm-hmm.
He's very flamboyant.
Is he a jerk?
Oh God, he's a huge jerk. if you look at him in Dragon's Den, a lot of the other investors usually have something at least constructive to say if they're not going to invest, right? Kevin will be just like, that's crap. That's a terrible idea. What the hell are you doing here? Why are you wasting? It's like these people have put years of work into these ideas, and some of them are crap, right?
Yeah.
But you've just there's a way, right? And part of it, I'm sure, is because it's it gets views, right? I'm sure part of it is the producers going, Kevin, you really gotta almost Simon Cowell it up. He reminds me of this Simon Cowell of the business world.
Yeah.
That's right. Like these people try their hardest. They're nervous as hell. They get up in front of these people and he's like, this is shit. Like it's, but he's very much a flamboyant guy, a very brash, very, I would say, almost rude in your face.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it turned out that he was just throwing his wife under the bus to save the business.
Yep.
It really wouldn't surprise me at all. Because he's got a lot of things. He's got a lot of companies. He's got a lot of and with the way that things are with the U.S., if he goes to jail, he may not be able to travel to the U.S. for business because you can't do that. The U.S. doesn't do that anymore. Like if you've gone to jail, they don't really, look kindly on people coming in with criminal records. Now you can pay a waiver, right? I think it's like a $700 or $800 waiver to go into the States, which is pennies for him, right?
Right.
But it's
money.
It's the look, it's the image. Right? Kevin O'Leary, big billionaire businessman, he went to jail and now he has to pay a waiver to come into the States for it's
wow.
So I could just see that him going, look, honey, I need you to take the fall for me here because otherwise our money is going to
says Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary has hired prominent Canadian defense attorney Brian Greenspan. Page 6 has exclusively learned after his boat crashed into another vessel, killing 2 people. O'Leary has turned to Greenspan for advice after questions were raised over statements he made after the collision last week on Lake Joseph in Ontario. Greenspan has previously defended stars including Justin Bieber, blah, 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 blah. Naomi Campbell, Catherine Smith, blah, 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 John Belushi. Okay. Meanwhile, O'Leary is facing questions after alleging that the other larger boat involved in the crash had no lights on and fled the scene after the collision. But police had a different account. Both vessels had left the scene, said Joe Scally, spokesman for the West Parry Sound, Ontario Provincial Police, according to Global News. Plus, a source told TMZ that the larger boat did have its lights on at the time of the crash. So there you go.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's just like nobody's saying anything about this. I'm just going through article after article after nobody's saying anything other than this guy, Kevin O'Leary. He's the guy who I thought he was. He's like a he's got a cognac nose, which indicates to me high blood pressure, probably from years of drinking.
He talks through his nose too.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to him talk, he's got that voice, like a nasal
voice.
Yeah. It's very high as well.
Yeah.
Like it, when you hear him talk, it is not the voice of a businessman, like a billionaire businessman that you.
Command guy who commands a room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very high. It's very nasal. It's very,
He's
very.
Weasel Boy.
Yes,
Weasel Boy who made $1 billion.
very yes, very much that.
You know, sometimes they do. You know, the market's funny. The you know the money fairy is funny.
It really is.
And visits a lot of the uh, a lot of the people I thought would make a lot of money didn't, and people who you know people who were absolute losers really just kind of wandered into their money, and I mean,
People who you're like, you don't deserve that.
oh yeah, you know, look at Jack Dempsey with Twitter. You know, he's just a nerd. He's just a complete nerd.
Ugh.
You know, sitting there on top of $500 million net worth, or that loser cuck Zuckerberg with Facebook. Yeah, just
Oh, Zuckerberg.
yeah, and uh, you know his principal claim to fame was that you know he managed to euchre a bunch of erstwhile friends out of a share of Facebook and managed to keep it all for himself. Nice
Yep.
going. Enjoy your money. Cuddle up with it. You know, hope you enjoy your friends. It reminds me of the line from the old song cover of the Rolling Stone. I got all the friends that money can buy, so I never have to be alone.
Yep.
Uh, Mazel tov. Hope you enjoy that, bud. Hope you enjoy that.
Oh, Sora Luna's here for the last few minutes of the stream. Hello, Sora.
Oh, hey, Sora. So anyway, uh, it's kind of a weird world. Not it doesn't always make perfect sense to me. Sometimes I think just for a minute that I don't understand absolutely everything there is to know. It's a weird notion, isn't it?
So you know what's awesome?
What's that?
When you're a mom or well, a parent and you're dropping your kid off at school and their teacher comes up to you and tells you that they're really proud and really happy about how well that your kid did on the first day of school and how well he listened and how well he remembered how everything works at school and that she was super proud of him and she thinks that this is going to be a great year. That kind of makes you as a parent go, I did something right.
Yes, it does. It does. It's those little victories,
Yeah,
those tiny little triumphs in life, keep us going.
that happened to me this morning. My Alex's teacher
Yeah.
found me at drop off
Yeah.
and was like, he did so well yesterday.
Oh, mom. Just makes you shine, doesn't it? Just makes you shine. Yeah, it's a it's a wonderful thing. I
Well,
just like,
and Logan's moving up to the preschool room next week at daycare.
oh boy,
He's in the toddler room right now.
you know it's not going to be long. He'll be in pre-K and then kindergarten and first grade, and he'll be talking to you and bringing home drawings and stuff, and you know projects he's worked on, and all kinds of things that he'll be proud of, want to show you, and then then
And
he'll
then
want
it'll be stop asking me about my homework, Mom.
yeah, then they want nothing to do with you, and you'll have about 8 years of that, and then they'll move away, and the house will be so quiet. You'll go, I know I was raising kids for like 18 years, and then it got really quiet, and now they're gone. And then about 6 years passes, maybe 10, and then the grandkids start coming back. Hey, Mom, can you look after the kids?
See, and I hope that I'm one of those grandmas that's like, yes, give me the kids.
Oh yeah, you will. Yeah, at least at first you will.
Yeah.
After a while, you start remembering how nice it is to be able to give them back. And especially when your stepdaughter starts getting in the habit of just adopting kids left and right. She adopted two more. Really, it was getting pretty exciting there for a while.
Oh
So
man.
suddenly, I went from first there was one, and then there was two, then three, then four, then five, and now my own blood daughter is going to have a sixth. So I'm up to my ears in grandchildren.
Yeah, how's she doing?
She's doing fine, just progressing right along. Looking
That's
like
good.
November 7th, November 8th due date, right around there.
Oh, that's nice. She won't be dying of heat exhaustion when
Yeah,
she's 8 months pregnant.
she'll have a break from the heat.
Yeah.
By then, it will have broken just a bit. She's so slender. She's always been a skinny kid, and she looks like a snake that swallowed a basketball.
I looked the same way too. I could with Alex especially. Um I could turn around and
Mm-hmm.
like face away from people
And the people didn't
and
even.
I wouldn't look pregnant and then I'd turn around and they'd be like, "Oh, wow."
That's pretty much with Andrea. I mean, you can tell her hips are spread a little bit from
Yeah.
the back, and that's all. It's and then she turns around and voila,
Yeah.
the bump. So yeah, she's getting it done. So
That's exciting.
uh, yeah, and this will be um, this will be my dad's first great grandchild
Aw.
that he acknowledges, because he does not. It's complicated. He doesn't
Yeah.
acknowledge the step uh, grandchildren as his great grandchildren.
Mm.
He's funny and old fashioned. Uh, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
But so he's excited about having a great grandchild, and that'll be very cool for him. So life moves on. It moves on, and it's funny how that works. The big wheel moves around.
Well, we've got 4 minutes left, guys.
Ask some questions, guys.
Yeah.
Ask us some embarrassing questions. We won't answer them, but we'll laugh at you.
Well, I got asked a really good question on my Mortal Kombat video, and it took me a while to answer it because they said, "What do you see in your mind's eye when you're playing?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn, that's a good question."
That is true. How do you visualize things? You know? How do you
What
put things together?
what I ended up saying was, I don't really know what the characters and maps like stages look like. So the visuals are a bit flat for me. But part of that is also my brain trying to remember, okay, listen for where you are. Now listen for where your opponent is. Okay, now remember what button you want to push to do exactly what you want to do. Okay, now there's so much to remember because I can't just look.
Mm-hmm.
That I think partly it's my brain trying to organize the information
Yes.
so that I don't overload myself.
See, that's a point of view thing that sighted people have trouble understanding about you, and that is that you have a lot of extra capacity from not being able to see. You don't have this, information coming into your brain that you rely on. That
Yeah.
uh, uh, and so you have this. You've developed the ability to organize the information that you do have access to, and you still have the that mental capacity that you would be able to devote to visual information, and you've adapted that to memorizing all the stuff that you have to memorize. And you do a lot of stuff by memory. People don't realize that.
That's probably.
I've heard you talk about it enough to realize that, to know that you commit a lot of things to memory, and people don't realize how much you commit to memory.
Sora Luna says, if you could be an animorph, what animal would you be? A lion.
An animorph.
So it was an old series of books and cartoons where these kids could I wasn't really into it, but you could like morph into different animals and they fought evil and
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah,
Sora Luna is obviously awesome. Yes.
Oh, of course.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. Let's see. If I could be an animorph animal, what kind of animal would I be? I think I would be. I like to bend the rules quite a bit, so I think I would be a cheetah.
I'd rather be an Animaniac, says Prospero. Yeah. I totally consider myself Dot. I am so Dot.
Animaniacs rule.
Oh, I love. I used to have that song memorized.
People don't realize that Animaniac is entertaining for adults. It's just as entertaining for adults as for anybody to watch.
Oh, it is totally. I think it's more for adults than it is for kids.
Absolutely. That was my take on it too.
Especially some of their songs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I just
yeah, I which is better, G.I. Joe or Voltron? Voltron. Absolutely Voltron.
Voltron's cooler anyway. Certainly.
Alex is big into Voltron because the redo is on Netflix. And Pincalo actually really enjoyed it as well. He's like, they did the original justice. They did a good job. The only shitty part is they decided to make Shiro gay for some reason. Well, we all know why, but
yeah,
they've decided to make him gay in the premiere of the 8th season, and Pincalo's like, "Oh, come on!" Really? But other than that, they've done a fairly good job.
Casual gayness.
Yeah. By the way, I had a boyfriend before this whole Voltron thing. Yeah. It was like a flashback type of deal.
Right. And Dumbledore's gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing.
It was pretty much exactly like that because it was Shiro having a flashback and him saying goodbye to his lover and his lover being all pissed off because he's going off to. He's, why can't you stay here with me?
Yeah. Yeah. Being gay is just the same as being straight. It's just as good. It's, two men can make a baby. Just like man or woman.
RVA says original Voltron better than new one. Oh, the original one's always going to be better.
Yeah, just about. Except for the Godfather movie, that's always true.
Like the original Evil Dead is always going to be better than the 2013 reboot, but the 2013 reboot wasn't terrible.
It's true.
What? I just got given something. Where did it go? Where is it? Ooh, chocolate chips. Pincalo just
Go ahead.
handed me a bag of chocolate chips.
Good husband.
Very.
Good husband.
He knows. He's awesome. He's always doing stuff like that. It's great.
Good man. Good man. Excellent man.
Well, my friends, we've done another 2 hours, and we actually managed to do 2 hours today because my computer didn't have a seizure. Hooray! If you enjoyed Blind Press and Skep Talk, please come and join us on Minions of the Zoo tonight at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central.
Where we will swap seats and do this again.
Exactly. Skep will be a stream host, and I will be there, and
Prospero will be there, I hope.
Awesome.
She's feeling well enough.
Yes, I hope she's feeling better. She sounded pretty bad last Thursday.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll be doing this all over again, and I will make sure Discord doesn't rear its ugly head. And we'll have
its ugly rear.
Yeah, there you go. I'm still working on a guest for Friday, but keep an ear out for that. I'm sure we will have a good one. And Star Trek stream on Saturday because I will actually be in town, and it is Skep Talk's turn for TOS favorites. Do you have yours picked?
Yes, I do. If you look back in, I sent it to you in Twitter.
Okay, I will check.
Yeah, check back through that thread. I'll send through you again. I will tell you that one of them is Trouble with Triples.
Yes.
And I left out Menagerie out of consideration, but I would have included Menagerie.
Is it in the group DM with Irate and Hammer?
No, it's I'm keeping it secret. I just revealed it to you only.
Okay.
So it's just for you only.
Because they need to know so they can watch it too.
Yes, I was expecting you to react to it. I was surprised that you didn't get back to me.
Where is it?
I'll resend it.
Okay.
I'll resend it here in a minute.
All right. So yes, for Saturday we'll be doing Skep Talks picks, and then next week we'll be doing mine. And I've picked 3 good ones. You guys are gonna love it.
We're gonna have some fun, guys.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching today. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. See you tonight on Minions, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern for another coffee stream. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, guys.
Bye, everybody.